Zusatz aufschreiben, Aufsatz schreiben. Fest 5 Minuten, zack, zack, Sachen raus. Ich habe die gegen den Schatten. Ich weiß nicht, ich will nicht wo die den Schatten. Das ist schon in Ordnung.
Ja, genau, das war Schatten.
Yeah, fine. So the first white belt we're talking about, turn it off.
Go closer. Go closer.
The closer? Okay, it turned on.
That's the problem, we know that.
Okay, that's your first convention wipeout. The second convention wipeout is how the main speaker could not start because he didn't have coffee. Go get your goddamn coffee. Is it?
I just know you want water for the panel, no coffee.
Water?
It stands on the things you need for this.
Okay.
There's that water, no coffee.
Yes, because that's what the paper said. Okay, the speaker arrives,
Hey, not my
and then
fault.
the door gets open. At what point do the lights get turned? Thank you. Yeah. So, what's the next thing on the paper? Untangling the cord. Okay.
Don't break.
Thank you. When Dari gets here, he can tell you some fun things. They call this convention wipeouts, also known as convention horror stories. I have been running the world's largest furry convention since 1998. And every year I like to say, I've seen everything. Oh no. I've always admired furries for their creativity, for their originality, for their inventiveness. You guys come up with new shit every year for us con organizers to deal with. These here, these are the chairman fingers. Every convention chairman uses them. They go different places. Mine go here. Cheetah's down here. The guy who runs Midwest Fur Fest is right across the place. Guy at well, the original chairman of the San Jose Convention for the Confusion, his was kind of down here. You know, at Confuzzled, it's up here. I can say that. They're all good friends of mine. The various furry convention chairs do tend to work very closely together. We're very, very mutually supportive. And we get together at times to share these stories and to cry on each other's shoulders. It's very, very therapeutic, not only for the person that the shit happened to, but for the other person as well. There's a German word for it. It's I think it's Schadenfreude. Well, better you than me, son. So before I get to the really, really dreadful ones, because I like to watch Dari's face, because you'll see it. When I'll tell him, how a 15-ton block of concrete fell from the ceiling and killed my guest of honor, you'll see Dari be like, That came close. That was at a convention in the center part of the United States a number of years ago. They had big crystal chandeliers on the ceiling of the ballroom, and a large audience seated out there, and the guest of honor was in the middle, which is odd. Normally the guest of honor is right in the front, but the guest of honor, he was a shy man. He was sitting very, very much in the middle of the room. Somebody on the stage thought, and maybe it was part of the theme, I don't remember, they thought it would be a good idea to hurl pieces of candy into the audience. And they did this, and one fellow, who apparently was a frustrated Major League Baseball pitcher, wound up with a piece of candy and hurled it very, very hard, I guess trying to get to the back of the room. It struck the chandelier with the speed of a bullet. The chandelier shattered. And I watched as thousands of fragments of glass rained down all around the guest of honor. He just sat there. He did not get struck by any of them. As best I can tell, the chandelier was circular, but the inside portion of it didn't have any glass, and he was sitting right under that. Because there was literally glass embedded in the chairs around him. You should have seen his face. It was like, he was just like, and I looked at that, of course, I was sitting like 3 seats away, and I was like, damn. I said, are you okay? Did any hit you? Let me see. You sure? I looked up at their chairman and I said, maybe you. So these things happen. Running a convention like this is very difficult because as much as, do you feel better now? Put it in your face, you will feel much better. Apply the coffee into your face. Yes. I was, should I start out with probably the biggest wipeout of all, or should we save that for the end? Well, I just told them, I told them about the breaking chandelier and the guest of honor and all that. Remember that one? Yeah. Oh no, he didn't get hurt. Do people, and this was not one of ours, fortunately not one of ours, because this has never happened at a furry convention. Any Doctor Who fans out there? You know, few. You probably like the modern doctors. Well, yeah. Patrick Troughton was Doctor number 2. He was guest of honor at a convention in the northwest part of the United States, as I recall. And on Friday night of the convention, after dinner, he announced that he wasn't feeling well. He was going to go upstairs and lie down. Well, he had a discussion Saturday morning that he didn't show up for. And they knocked on the door of his room, and there was no answer. They finally had to break into the room, and they found that Mr. Troughton had died in his sleep. Oh. So Patrick Troughton died at a convention, which I guess if he had to go, I imagine that's how he would have wanted to go. None of us would have had the heart to say to the chairman, better you than me, in that case. So we have not yet killed a guest of honor. He tried in a few instances, like with the chandelier falling. I've put several guests of honor on United Airlines.
What they tried after visiting the ashram for the first time in their life.
Really?
Hey.
Oh, tell them.
There's no story behind that.
It's in your face, and then tell them, because I just told them something. Okay, did you prepare for this?
I'm always.
Okay, no, you are not. Oh God, Germans! What was I telling about Germans? At the thing, what was it called yesterday? The first FurryCon panel. He comes in and says, "I'm not prepared. I don't have my notes." I said, "Well, we'll just wing it." So we got up there. I said, "So Dari, what do you have to say?" He'd say, "Thank you, Dari. Thank you. You prepared for this one. Alita, do you have your notes?" Talk.
I don't need notes.
Do
you remember?
Close to your face.
Is this thing on?
Yes. I'm going to see if it turns.
Yeah, the problem is known.
Do you remember year 16, Gagi?
What?
Who?
You're referring 16?
Hello.
You're referring 16. That was, what was the theme that year?
Do you actually need this thing, or can you all hear us?
No.
You can hear.
Fuck it. All right, let's get rid of it. Another picture wipeout.
When you were talking about guests of honors dying, maybe some of you might remember year 16 when we moved to Magdeburg back in the days.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that year, the first unit, well, new hotel is always horrible. We moved and nothing worked. The entire light in the main stage went off. Part of the hotel getting fired. Everything was shit. And then Cheetah was running around, "Oh my God, the puppet show is half prepared. Everything is a little bit woozy. We might just do it." And suddenly we got a medical call. Yeah, the main actor for the puppet show just has been delivered to the hospital with an ambulance. And I think it was that night when Tani one of the big puppeteers had appendix removed or something like that. That was a good year.
Yes, yes, yeah, oh, he does the fingers too. We can call them the security fingers, yeah.
Nose.
Oh, he's got two, he's got two. Yeah, yeah. We all do it. Some are left-handed. Yeah. I do remember that year now. And he is correct. Every year when you go to a new hotel, something is going to surprise you. Because, well, let's face it, it's the first time, the hotel doesn't know you, you don't know the hotel. The first time here was a little awkward because they were still getting the feel for the place. I will not forget, I don't think, when Anthrocon moved from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. See, these guys had experienced moving to a different city. Does everybody know why Anthrocon moved from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh? Okay, nobody knows the story. I had a hotel, a beautiful hotel. Actually, no, it wasn't. The ceiling, when it rained, the ceiling would leak, and they would put buckets in a lot of places to catch the water. The air conditioning had 2 speeds, not working and Arctic. So when I told them, what can we do for the room for the fursuiters? Well, the fursuiters either were terribly sweating and being dehydrated, or they would come out with the sweat frozen. It was a shithole, but it was our shithole. It was home. The Adams Mark Hotel. I don't know why they call it the Adams Mark. They had this symbol on the side that just looked like a tomato had been thrown. It was the mark, Adams Mark. On the 30th of November of 2004, at 10 o'clock in the evening, why do I remember this so clearly? My telephone rang, and a voice said, hey, Uncle Kage, what's this I hear? They're going to demolish the Adams Mark? And I said, oh, for Christ's sake, I don't have time to deal with idiots like you. Don't bother me. And I hung up. It's like, Jesus Christ, why do I gotta, no. And then a minute later, the phone rang again. And I grabbed it, I said, what? And it was a different voice saying, Uncle Kage, what's going on? I saw on the news they're going to tear down the Adams Mark. And I started to get that feeling here. That feeling, the one like you swallowed a cat and is trying to get out. I went to my television, I turned on the news, and they were talking about the sports teams. So I thought, okay, this is 2004. This is 11 years ago, remember? So I thought, I will go to the IRC channel. I'll go to the Furry IRC channel, and I will ask, can somebody tell me what is going on? I have had 2 phone calls. Can someone explain? So I logged into the Furry IRC channel, and it came up, Uncle Kage has joined the channel. And then, it was coming so fast. It's like, log out. And I put an announcement on Anthrocon's webpage that simply said, don't panic, let me find out what's going on. And the next morning, I called the hotel. My contact there, we called him Magic Tom because he made things happen. He did, seriously. I said, hey, Tom, what's everybody talking about? And he said, oh yeah, we closed. And I said, can you elaborate a little bit? I'm a little on edge this morning. He said, yeah, yesterday at 4 in the afternoon, they called all of us into the ballroom and said, the hotel is closed, that's it, we're not taking any more reservations. The building is going to be demolished and they're going to put up a Target store here. And I said, you're joking. He said, nope. I said, Tom, you can't do this to me. I have a contract. He said, well, that's nice. I don't have a job. I thought, oh, I'm sorry. So I called Atlasmark corporate headquarters. And, well, they told me the same thing. Yeah, that's it. I said, I have got a contract. You have to have a hotel on that location. And they said, read your contract. The contract never actually said that there would be a hotel there. If you look at Amplicon's contract with the Westin, it has an unusual phrase that the lawyers questioned, but I told them, you're putting it in or I don't sign. There will be a hotel on this site.
Hotel. Let's stick with hotels.
Let's talk about
Especially with old hotels, with broken hotels. Who of you have been to Confuzzles? Sorry. Forgot about that. Do you remember the Britannia Hotel that Confuzzles has been in a few years ago? No? The one where I think it was at 4 in the morning the first time during one of the dance nights when a neighbor called and said, guys, the music is too loud, I have the glasses rattling in my home. And they asked, okay, where exactly are you? Are you left, right of the building? No, I'm half a kilometer away. This hotel had some, I think it was a fundament or an air duct or something underground that connected a neighboring building on the other end of the entire site with the hotel's ballroom. So every vibration was actually going underground directly into his bathroom. Or maybe it helped a little. But we have that everywhere. Your friends 13, remember BBF and his air duct?
Oh,
the
yes.
grill?
Yeah.
BBF was spinning the decks, the bass was really good, and suddenly one of the air ducts came down the ceiling. That was a fun night. Or in the New Year, Confuzzles Hotel, the how do you call the I-beams? The I-beams. Yeah. They steal inside those pillars. The ones that are in the ballroom go all the way up through the stories and to every single room. So whatever you do down here, it feels like 10 times worse up there. So you basically have the same with the Britannia, but this time
Well, you have to remember, the Britannia Hotel did not start as a single hotel. There were apparently 5 hotels randomly distributed across this 3 square kilometers of land, and they just decided to connect them with some temporary building material of some sort back in the 1970s. What I remember about the Britannia was, okay, they gave me my room number. You're in room 1323. So I'm following all the signs. 1,300 rooms this way. You go down a hallway and you turn right, and then you turn left, and the sign keeps saying 1,300 rooms this way. And you go by a little window and you're going across a highway. Oh, now turn left again. And the further you went, the less nice. You started out with nice wooden doors, and now the doors are kind of wood, but they're warped. And now I don't think there are doors at all. And I'm coming in, and the room signs are hand lettered onto them. And then I come around, and it's like, okay, they have not recovered from the Blitz in this area. And I finally got to my room. And I opened my room, and it was a lift. Or I thought it was a lift. There was a bed in a lift. Because the bed was about as big as this table, and there was this same amount of space on the side. I had enough room. I could not put my suitcase down between the bed and the wall. I had to put the suitcase in the bathroom, which was exactly the size. They're laughing. They think I'm making this up. Because when I looked at this room and I was like, okay, I could touch both walls. Did they tear it down after we left? Good.
Fine. But yeah,
Actually, or did they tear it down or did it fall down?
most likely they didn't have to do much.
Yeah. They just had BBF spin again and the whole place went. Oh God, the Ringberg Hotel, the old hotel from your family. Beautiful. Do not say anything nasty about the Ringberg.
Do you remember room number 9?
Room number 9?
Room number 9.
Which was room number 9?
The storage number 9. We don't know.
Oh wait, you mean upstairs?
No. In the basement.
Oh, yeah, oh yes. Now I
A room
remember.
that doesn't exist down the Silent Hill staircase.
Actually, Andre took me down there.
So you know.
Yeah, the Ringberg Hotel apparently had a bunker under it. We don't know if it was built by the Soviets or by somebody before that. But it's this extensive network of concrete rooms and tunnels and things. And I thought, this is cool. we could have a con down here. That's okay. The theme from this con could have been down there.
Until they found out that there's still all gas lines running down there and
Yeah.
no valves and nothing in the air. What?
That's why I thought it was the Soviets who built it. There apparently are no safety systems at all. No safety valves, no relief valves, no turn off here.
You have to imagine the old Ringberg Hotel was used by the state security as their hideout during civil riots and civil stuff like that. Now, what they did was building a telecommunications bunker under the actual hotel into the mountain. A 2-story bunker to be exact. And it was still fully running and intact when we went down there after UFRANS 14. We actually found the heater that heats up the fuel line to the emergency diesel generator still active after 50 years or so. But it works. Must be Russian.
That's the German part.
But anyways, the Ringberg Hotel built their actual cellar system next to the bunker system. So there was a staircase going all the way from the top of the hotel all the way down. But as the staircase you see, it was an emergency staircase, so you can get in, but you can't get out anymore. Unless you have the key for the control. Now, a lot of our attendees went in there, down, going to the lobby, and unfortunately they went past the lobby, and suddenly to the first basement floor, second basement floor, and I shit you not, on every basement floor there was a fluorescent light, and the deeper you go, the less modern those things are. And they started flickering and humming. They're very content, they are off sometimes, so because it's the Silent Hill staircase, because the slower the lower you go, the louder the noise from the cooling thingies for the cooling rooms gets down there. It's really horrifying to walk down there. We had actual attendees down there having panic attacks. We had to get them out.
Well, of course, when they got to the bottom and found all the skeletons from the people.
The thing is, we went down there to see what's actually there so we can get people out faster. So we went down, found the corridor, you have to imagine this corridor endlessly, straight on, 50 rooms per side, and each door getting more hardened, more reinforced the deeper you go. The first ones were actually in use, but you had room 1, 2, 3, and so on, and suddenly room 10, room 9 was missing. There was just white wall where room 9 should have been. I don't know what happened down there. Left was a cooling room for wine, where we found Kagi most of the time. And right of it was some other storage, but room 9 was a white wall. We don't know what's behind there, but ever since we had a rumor that we bring attendees that disobey down to room number 9. So on to room number.
That's where they are.
Okay, now I can foresee some reality TV show in 20 years. We're going to break into room 9 and find out what's in there. Find ancient, dusty Soviet fursuits in there. Stalin's dirty little secret. What other horrible things have happened to us over the years? See, I don't know why we do this talk, because these are things we really try to forget. And that's why Dari has to remind me sometimes when I say, oh, that, yeah. We put it out of our minds because we need to make room for the new horrible things that we're going to come up with. There was, this is also one did not happen at my convention. I had been friends for a while with a man named Dan DeCarlo. He was one of the biggest comic book artists of the 20th century. Dan created Josie and the Pussycats. He created Sabrina the Teenage Witch. His art style was the art style of Archie Comics. A very nice older gentleman. His wife was a French lady he had met during the war, and her name was Josette. She was Josie. She was the model for Josie from Josie and the Pussycats. Very, very darling and elegant lady. And at our guest of honor dinner, I put my best suit on and everything. We were, oh yes, notice how impressive we are. Athricon is a very, very professional organization. I was sitting at the head of the table. Dan and Josie were to my left. My programming director at the time, Susan Rankin, a very pretty blonde lady, was sitting to my right. And I was regaling us, and you know, Athricon has been, we were incorporated in 1998, and we've had many luminary guests, of course, known as luminaries ourselves, and we are very, very pleased to have you, and, you know, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. And Dan sat there, listening, and just politely, just kind of staring at his plate. And as soon as I stopped talking to take a breath, he looked up at Josie and he looked at Susan across the table and said, "What kind of a drunk do you make?" And Susan said,